You draw something, you look at it, and you're like, that's a little sus, and that's how you know it's good. Hey guys, you're watching A Mediocre Existence, where I like to post myself struggling to do art, and then I call it content. All of the drawings I post here were part of an Artober challenge I did in 2024. Today's drawing is day 5, which is Sneak. I bet you're gonna be super surprised at what I'm gonna be drawing. Here is today's reference. This little rolled up little guy. Squish. Alright, let's get started. This drawing's definitely going to be oriented horizontally because he's got a wide body, that wide build. So I started off by sketching the position of the branch our little guy's going to be resting on. Gotta make sure to give him some space to exist on the page. So overall, his body is just this interesting little upside down taco shape, and he just kind of hangs.
Just hanging around.
So that's kind of the direction of his face. That's so funny. It's a snake. And I sketched out a simple almond-like shape for his face just so I can get an idea of where I want to put the rest of the loops for his body. I want his body to be wrapped around, like so. And I went to work with refining the dynamic shapes his body creates with each roll. I love starting off with a simple sketch and then just sculpting it and refining it as I go. One of the reasons why I chose this reference is because you can see his tail, and it's so cute. It's just neatly coiled up on the branch as well. He's just so committed to the cones that even his tail is wrapped around the branch. So his tail is going to be like a little donut here, and it kind of wraps around itself and ends in the middle of the branch. So there's this section of his body leading up to his tail and another one hanging behind it. And wraps around right there. And of course, I cannot forget his snoot. His cute little snoot. Okay, so I got his basic shape down. Also, I'm a little dumb. For many reasons. But this one is because I looked at him and I was thinking, look at this big snake. You know, he's big, coiled snake. He's not big. If you look at the plants, he's probably medium, probably small. I don't know. What is snake size definition? If he's a big snake, those are some huge leaves, you know? He's gotta be a lot smaller than what I thought he was. This is a tiny guy. He's just a small boy. He ain't scared. He ain't scared nobody. And as I started drawing his head, I realized it would probably benefit me if I started drawing out the shapes within his head first. So I started drawing 2 lobes on his head, and then with the snoot, it seems I have drawn a pee-pee again. But you know what? That's what art is. Art is drawing pee-pees. You draw something, you look at it, and you're like, that's a little sus, and that's how you know it's good. I'm just kidding, that's wrong. Don't follow that logic. He's just gonna be a little sus looking for a bit. Sorry, dude. So his face is way too wide here, and his lobes aren't as prominent as I'm making them. Okay, so he's got this odd-looking scaly mouth. I'm not sure what exactly is going on here, but I'm gonna just try to add it in. He looks like he has little vents, like a little race car. That's why he has so many, because he's always zooming so fast. I guess I'm drawing vents. His scaly vents. I started drawing them, and then I realized they bend with the contour of his mouth shape. I decided to skip them for now. I needed to get the rest of his body rendered first, and I didn't want to take so much time to draw them in just to have to erase them later because the placement of his head was wrong or something. So after sharpening a few details on his face, I went back to drawing the body. The top roll has a pronounced U shape, and his nose is nestled up right at the crease of the U. His body wraps around the other side, and I'm assuming I'm drawing the ridge of his spine. The rest of his body kind of dips in and tucks itself around. I tried to draw a straight-ish line to emphasize the mass of his body. Although he's round altogether, I did want to emphasize the sharper creases and the straighter edges, as well as the round parts. It's just a snake. Snake. It's a snake.
Oh, snake.
Now the lower portion sticks up as it rests on the branch, but the rest of it hangs down and hides slightly behind his upper roll before it reveals itself again. It took me a few attempts to get to the correct shape of the roundness of the roll, and I really wanted to emphasize the downward angle of the edge. I'm gonna make this part of his tail stand out a bit. If you look at the negative space, it kind of bulges out just a bit. And then I realized I should probably make these lines connect because this roll connects to the roll hanging on the back. So I redid the tail donut after drawing that. As you noticed, I tend to draw and redraw things. I know it's not efficient, but I just can't get it right the first time. Now looking at it, I need to bring his front roll slightly lower, but also move the second roll higher up to emphasize its volume. And I gotta draw the spine here. A lot of the times I couldn't tell if I was looking at his spine or just his muscles flexing. He seems to have a lot of muscle structures that I haven't studied, so I just tried drawing what I saw. As I was reshaping the front top roll, I noticed the U shape has two ridges that run fairly parallel with each other. If there's any snake experts out there, I would actually like to enjoy some snake facts. I don't know much about snakes, I just think they're kind of neat. Okay, so the spine, or the ridge, I'm gonna call it a spine. Sorry, snake nerds. I don't know what I'm doing. Spine is on the edge here, and it looks like the roll hangs lower than what I have it as. Also, it seems like the spine transitions to the peak on the top over here. So I cleaned up those horrible sketch marks and refined the shape of this roll a little bit better. The spine area goes down and twists under, something like that. Did some more sculpting and refining, so I ended up redrawing the top section here, and I also rounded out the back section. Since I got his body mostly illustrated here, I think I'm gonna go back to the mouth and start adding those vent things. I'm just gonna look them up. Like, what the hell am I looking at? Okay, according to Reddit, and you know how trustworthy Reddit is, the vents are used for detecting heat. They're speed halls, they make the snake go faster. That's what I'm saying! Okay, so it's for heat. So they're like little vents, little detectors, little sensors for the guy. So I guess that's what I'm drawing. They're just so itty bitty, it's so hard to see what I'm drawing. I feel so stressed watching myself draw these. This side nostril is just giving me issues here. And so after I was done drawing his nostrils and his face, took a look at it and realized I had to redraw it. And I have to change the angle of his nostrils here. Oh my god, I was gonna try to zoom in like you would on a tablet. I wish I could zoom in. Let me zoom in! Just trying to add a hint of a V-scale pattern above his nostrils, but I don't want to make it look like a set of angry eyebrows. And I gave him a few details on his face and some pupils. And then I decided it was time to fix the details on the branch. I tried to add a tiny branch going out the side, but I couldn't make it look good, so I'm gonna pretend I never attempted that. It never happened. There is our brother in Christ. I was concerned about how I would go about inking this guy. I mean, when am I never concerned about inking a drawing? But, you know, I thought the sketch was pretty good, and I didn't really want to fuck it up with inking it. So I decided I would just outline the white spots of his pattern, and they would also work as indicators that he has scales. So I grabbed my Sharpie pen and started the line art process. As difficult and stressful as it is actually kind of satisfying once you do it right. If I did it correctly, which is not always the case. I made sure to take my time with his face vents, but I actually liked how they turned out. Do you ever see those artists who draw their drawings with long strokes and then they do it perfectly like the first time? Like, that is skill. And it's not me, clearly. I'm very, very sketchy with my outlining. And the reason for that is if I tried to create it with one stroke, it starts veering off in the wrong direction, and then it just looks kind of shaky because my hands do shake when I draw for some reason. Just always nervous. I'm just an anxious chihuahua. So I find it easier just to do a bunch of sketchy strokes, especially with curved lines. But you know what? I can just pretend it's my style and I totally know what I'm doing. Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. And then I fucked up my line. Look at that misalignment. That was a messy line. I mean, there's not much I can do but keep it and try to strategically draw over it. If only I was skilled enough to do that correctly. Okay, yeah, look. I'm trying to attempt the single stroke line art method, and it turned out exactly as I thought it would. And not great. This is why I can't be a tattoo artist. Okay, so overall, he looks...
My name is Jeff.
He looks a bit sketchy, and that's putting it nicely. I think I know what I can do here. I think I'm gonna... I'm gonna use this pen just to crisp up those lines. He's easier to control and I can really smooth out the sketchy lines to hide my mistakes. And I entrusted my mighty ballpoint office pen to be the hero of this venture and fix my dirty deeds. And, well, it gets a little better. I'm still not completely sure how I want to shade this guy, but I know I want to keep it to a minimal. I did some light hatching in the areas that work very clearly in shadow, starting off with the roll that's under his snout, and then I went back with some cross hatching to give the appearance of scales. There's a sharp shadow on his tail, so I want to emphasize its crispness. So I'm gonna add a little guideline here. There's a similar thing going on here. There's actually another one from this one here, and it continues on here to here. I'm gonna try to blend it without making it look awkward. I think I did a decent job of getting it on there. Okay, I'm gonna outline the spots. I'm looking at it and I do want to give it the illusion of light reflecting onto the bottom of this first roll. So if I darken the middle edge here, the area underneath will look lighter. It also helps give him more volume. And I'm gonna do a similar thing on the lower roll as well. Alright, I'm happy with this shading. I'm gonna move on to shading the branch. And then it hit me, the branch. I forgot to draw the other side of the branch. Let me know in the comments when you figured it out. I bet you figured it out faster than I did. Oh, branch actually peeks out right here. See where it should peek out here? Please don't mind my hair in the way. I was doing so good of getting my head out of frame. The struggle is real when you don't have a viewfinder and you're recording your videos on your iPhone SE. At least it's in shadow, so you can't really tell that I fucked up. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Crisis averted. Now I can shade the branch. I just did some basic shading and I made it darker on the edges to make it seem more round. I'm also adding some scribbles to imitate the texture of the branch. Okay, I just need to erase the pencil marks and I think I'll be done with this guy. He is so cute. I love him so much. Proud of how he turned out, especially compared to the gems and the badger. I feel like I failed on those and I don't really like them as much. But this guy, I like this guy. Well, I actually liked the way that one turned out. Here is a close-up of the drawing, and as always, I do like to hear from you guys. What did you like about this drawing? What didn't you like about this drawing? I'm gonna get so many hate comments just asking that. Please be nice. And what would you have done differently? If you enjoyed my video of me struggling to draw a snake, then please like the video and consider subscribing to my channel. I also post YouTube shorts of comics that I draw, and say it with me, a mediocre existence is still an existence. Bye bye.